Of course, this film was gonna suck. Of course, this was literally obvious. I knew something like this was gonna happen. It was pretty much obvious. The director Chu didn't even bother to hire Christy Marx. She was the original creator of the Gem series, Gem and the Hologram. She was the one that wrote that back in the day, the TV series. And when they never bothered to ask her to come to join the writing, I knew it was going to be horrible. I heard about this movie. I knew it was going to be horrible since 3 years ago when they announced it. So, of course, this is not surprising. It really isn't. I mean, Christy, back in the day, I think it was somewhere between the 80s to early 90s, she did a lot of screenwriting for a lot of shows. She was very known for it. For the Gem, the show that she created and screenwrited. She also screenwrited for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. She screenwrited for G.I. Joe. Hell, she even screenwrited Conan the Adventurer. You know, Conan the Barbarian series? That's the one. She did all that. And I can't believe they were actually surprised. I knew it was not going to do well. I actually felt it within my bones. It was not going to do well. I didn't wish for it, but I knew. I will never wish any films to be that bad unless they were very insensitive. But this film, I knew it was going to be bad. It was pretty much obvious. For some reason, Universal keeps thinking they could make a good... This could have been a really good film. This really could have been a really good film if they could have hired a female director, a few female writers, and they could have added Christy Marx to be involved in it. Then the film would have been amazing. But it would have had a great story. It would have had great characters. I mean, these actresses, they're not bad. They look really good. I was pretty surprised about that. I was like, they were good. And I'll admit, I wasn't too happy when I found that one of the characters wasn't African American, because in the original TV series she was. There was at least one character that was African American, and for some reason they blocked that out. That's not fair. I'm pretty happy that they actually let an Asian American character, a Chinese young, I think it was a Chinese woman or Philippine. I know it's an Asian descent woman. I'm sorry, I have to go into that one. To be as one of the characters, so that's really good. That's really good, but they actually had to get rid of one of the characters who was African American, or that was already established in the animated series and now in the comic books, because the comic book is actually pretty good. I never got a chance to read it, but I heard a lot of great reviews about it. I guess I'm gonna have to check for that comic book soon. But this was not. They really, they could still reboot it. I believe they could still have a chance to reboot this. But they're gonna have to get a female director. They're gonna have to hire female writers. Especially, they're gonna have to have Christy Marx to be involved in this one. They can't do that whole, oh no, we don't need the female writers involved. I mean, we got a lot of men here. We know what we're doing. We know how it works with the... Hell no. Oh, Universal Studio, why do you keep doing this to yourself? You did so well with Jurassic World. Why? Why did you do this to yourself? I knew it was going to be bad. I really did. I knew it was pretty much obvious it was going to be bad. And they still went for it. Look at this. That's just... They could have been successful. There could have been no reason for them. Because remember Marvel's film for... the Guardians of the Galaxy, that was also not so well known too. So they can't make an excuse saying, oh, this, since this was in the 80s, this show, that could be the only reason why it didn't do well. No, my friend, no. Guardians of the Galaxy, they're almost as old from the 70s. And even now, people didn't even realize about that. Only a little people. The only thing they remember from that series, I guarantee you, was only about the raccoon and the tree. Sometimes it's just a raccoon himself, but not many people even remember that. Only the older generation, but even by then, it wasn't the most. From what I remember, it wasn't the most popular, but it still made some. It still had some good stories back in the day. But the fact that they still went for it, they still try to bring this almost obscure series, Guardians of the Galaxy, into the big screen. It made a great success because they knew what they were doing. They knew what they're gonna add. So there's no excuse why this couldn't have not worked for Gem and the Holograms. No excuse. It could have been just as good if they didn't hire the wrong people. They could have hired Christy Marks. They should have done that. That should have been the first thing they were supposed to do. But no, instead they go into that whole city that, you know what, we don't need to hire women directors. No, let's just hire a male director. It's always, let's just keep continuing hiring them because they'll never do anything wrong. Look, yeah, they never do anything. Look, they got pulled out. This film was so horrible it had to be pulled out. I never heard of a film that bad that ever had to be so horrible that it actually had to be pulled out. Never. I never heard of that. So wow. Universal, why do you keep doing to you? So, the Transformers. I'm definitely gonna talk about that one in the next one. I have some issues with that one too. The Transformers, so much potential, yet they hired the worst director ever. Where's Michael Bay? Really? Michael Bay, out of all the people you could have hired. You had to hire that son of a... Really? Well, that's as far I'm going to talk about that for the next video, but for this one, I'm just going to mention about Gem and the Holograms. That's about it. So much wasted opportunity. So much good opportunity that could have been done for this film, and they ruined it. You know, I hope that maybe they'll do a reboot, but they're going to have to wait for a few years until this horrible mess is out of people's misery, out of their minds. See ya.